Down at Mill Lane, Jamie's booked me for a day tench fishing. But yeah, it's turning out to be a pike session. That's number 5, I think, that's picked up the worm kebab. Not good, they're a pain in the you-know-what at the moment, but hopefully the tench will turn up. It's the 8th of May and I'm down at Mill Lane with Ken, my new customer, who initially booked me to go pike fishing, and we'd had a date booked back in the winter to go to French and Big Pond, but unfortunately, what with the COVID lockdown, it never happened. So I sent a little flyer out to everyone just saying what we could do and reschedule and where we could go, and you fancied a tench, didn't you?
That's right, yeah.
And you know what? I knew the perfect venue to catch the 2. So we've come down to the pike pit, and what have you caught today?
3 pike.
3 pike. One was quite a nice one. We had a bite off as well. Unfortunately, the tench hasn't shown yet, but they have been splashing about all over the place, so we're quite confident that one might turn up. They have been turning up later in the day. Yesterday, Jamie was with me, and again, the pike seemed to like the worms, and after I left, I did get a WhatsApp with a nice picture of a personal best. So the methods he learnt did snare one at £7, I think it was 7.14, so that'd be a PB for you, won't it?
Good, yeah.
So fingers are crossed. Yeah. Conditions have changed. At long last, we got a beautiful southwesterly. The tench was showing, and we are quite confident, aren't we, that something will happen. It's 10th of May, and down at Harris Lake at Marsh Farm with Nathan and Stephen Fleming. You would have thought that these were the ideal conditions, great atmospherics, a brisk southwesterly. It was warm overnight, about 10 degrees. It's about 13 or 14 now. Nice and overcast, but unfortunately the fish haven't read the script, because today's been one of the toughest days I've ever fished here. I said to the lads, you know, expect 12 fish each at least today, but we have worked hard, and I don't think we've quite got that many between us. A few tench. Steve had a lovely personal best crucian, 212. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the fishing slowly improved as the days got on. Nathan's just picked a couple up on the pellet cone.
Really enjoying using the pellet cone. It's going to come in very handy. It's a great technique.
You'll catch a few.
Never heard of it before.
No, you'll catch a few on that. That one's probably the best of the day, probably. Yeah, I would say about, getting on for 6, probably £5.5. So 2 very quickly, and it's getting better as the day goes on. We're down at Mill Lane with Patrick today. He's come all the way from Kent. Do a bit of tench fishing. It's been a frustrating morning. Had a lot of fish showing this morning over the baited area, and we're just packing up, and off it went, didn't it, Pat?
Yeah.
And you've managed to get this one. We've got it out of the bag. How big's that? 5.14. So a PB for Patrick. If you want to hold him up. There it is. Not too high. Lower it down a bit. That's it. So you worked really hard that. We've done a lot of casting every hour, and the rewards paid us off. Well, down at Mill Lane, and Daryl's just pulled it out the bag. Very, very quiet morning. One bite off, and loads of tench moving this morning. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, this proper old male turns up. How big does she go, Daryl?
7.9.
7.9, so cracking male tench on the worm kebab again, so not quite a PB, but you're happy with that. Probably the biggest male you've ever caught. Nice one, well done, buddy. Well, it's Thursday, May the 13th, and you might be able to see from my setup that the eel rods are out, so it's quite special because it's my first night for eels this year. I don't do many nowadays. I've got a weird customer with me as well. I'll introduce him to you tomorrow when he's got a net full of eels, hopefully. So I've already had a couple of pickups. I think they might have been liners from carp, but I have caught here in the day. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a hectic night. The got plenty of cloud cover. It's quite humid. It's going to be quite mild in the atmosphere. It's so I'm expecting it to be quite a hectic night. We'll show you some fish hopefully in the morning. Well, it's the morning after our first eel session of the season. Neil's my customer today, who is a bit weird because he's like me, has a passion for the anguilla. And I must admit, although what you can see here looks quite impressive, it was a very frustrating night, wasn't it?
It could have been so much more. I mean, so many drop runs, strange runs.
Missed runs,
bumped fish.
Fish, that's what I noticed last night. Hook 'em, and then they're soon after. I think if we'd converted our runs, we would have had 20 eels each.
Definitely.
And the other really frustrating thing is, you just lower that down a bit. The other frustrating bit is the size of the eels. These are relatively small, though I'm looking at that one and I'm thinking that's probably getting on, you know, a 3. But the average size here, I've had 20 or more myself, and they normally average 2.5 pounds, but today we've got a lot of 2s, I would say, but great fun.
Yeah, good fun.
One of those days that gets the old ticker going.
Good thinking fish. Go home and think more about them.
I think bulk rigs is the way forward on this lake, because we're catching during the day as well. If anything, it didn't get any busier or more runs at night.
No.
You've just missed one here in the morning, and in fact you had 2 of your eels in daylight. Yeah, we're looking forward to coming back, having a day session, playing about with rigs, striking. I made a few little errors on what I bought, landing net. I bought a big triangular one where, don't you dare, which isn't the sort of landing net you want. So food for thought, but it's nice to get some action and get out. Great. Comfortable night, wasn't it? It was forecast to rain all night, and in fact,
perfect conditions. It should have been.
Yeah.
The book sometimes is different. They don't read it.
And nor do eels. Some nights you can get 20 bites and miss them all. Another night you'll get 20 bites and you'll hook them all. And another day you won't get any. So, yeah, really enjoyable to get out.
Night,
and we'll definitely be back and sussing these little ones out. Good morning. Amazingly, I'm out having a fish from the south. It's mid-May and I'm on the new venue. Quite excited about this. Came for a walk on the weekend, saw quite a few fish moving around midday, amazingly. So I've come back for a quick morning session. Started at 7, I'll be gone by 11. Put a bit of bait out there. The fish that I saw the other week were quite a long way out, and they are today. I've seen 3 tench move. So I'm approaching this in the same way I do other gravel pits on the kebab. Spawned a bit of chop out over the top, and it really is down to the fish now. Now I'm not expecting a lot. If I catch on my first session it'll be really good, but I'm expecting this to be quite a difficult challenge. A guy I met in the car park said his mate had an 8-pound tench a couple of days ago, so they are waking up. But this is a deep venue, so it's mid-May, it's still quite chilly, and I'm not expecting a great deal for the first 2 or 3 sessions. I'm coming back on Thursday to fish the night, probably for bream. So if an 8-pound tench turns up, I'll be more than happy, but to be perfectly honest, I'm looking for something quite a bit bigger. Fingers crossed, and hopefully in the next 3 or 4 hours something will happen. Well, the first tench from a new venue is always a special fish. Even if it's not the biggest in the world, but I'm not after, well, I am after a big fish, but at the moment I just want to catch. So to come here on my first session, first morning, rod's been out 2 hours, I had a massive liner and thought, oh, there's fish around, and then a few minutes later it whipped off to this little beauty. I'm looking for something about 5 pound bigger, but I'll take a 7-pounder any day, and my God, they do fight in this lake. So thank you, darling. I know my baits are presented well. I know my location was on spot because there was fish moving, up and running straight away. I'm really looking forward to this new adventure. Thank you, darling. Well, I would have been happy with a liner, let alone 3 tench. I've had 2 7s now, and this slightly bigger one. They are getting bigger. I don't know how big she is. You'll have to look and watch my YouTube monthly blog She's not the biggest. I'm looking for something a few pound bigger than her, but to get 3 fish in a morning on a new venue just proves location, rig and presentation. And if you get most parts of the jigsaw fitted, then these little beauties are the ones that come along and put the final bits in. Thank you, darling. You've made my day. Evening, everybody. I'm down at the new lake. This is my first overnight session. The other morning I ended up with 4 tench in just 4 hours. So I don't know if that's good, because I think I'm going to be brought back down to reality. We've got a bit of a wild, windy, wet night forecast. I've got the tench rods out now in a new swim, a new area. I'm going to switch them over and fish corn stacks for bream later, and then first thing in the morning have another 4 or 5 hours for the tench. So fingers crossed. If I get a bite, I'll be happy. As I say, I'm not looking at getting instant results, although it's already happened to a certain extent. I'm just be very grateful of a bite sometime over the next few hours. So we'll catch up soon. Down at Marsh Farm, Harris Lake. I must admit it's quite slow this morning, but I'm with Norman, a new customer today. He fancied going tench fishing, so I brought him here, and he's just landed this beauty at £5, what was it?
6 ounce.
£5, 6 ounces, a new PB, so he's well happy there. Next target's a £2 cruie, so we'll keep trying and touch base with you all later on. Well, the day gets better. We set a target this morning of a £5 tench and a £2 crucian. The tench has already been done, but Norman's gone one better, and this one goes £3 on the nose, getting a bit fat, so they're beginning to get spawned up. But I don't think you realise the size and what that fish is. That is humongous. If you don't come back to this complex, you'll probably never beat that in your life. So that one came actually on the method feeder. So I'm trying to show him 2 styles. The tench came on the pellet cone, so having a good day.
One of the best.
We might not be getting loads, but we're certainly getting quality. Well done, bud.
What a fantastic day this turned out to be. Started off really slow, but it's picked up now. The sun has come out. 5 crucians, up to 3-1, and a personal best tench, over £5. So couldn't do any better.
Well, we're down at Badshot Lee. Dom wanted his first cat, and he's just gone and done it in Star. How big's that one?
35.
36.6 it was actually. Don't do yourself out of a £1.6. As you can see, it's absolutely chucking it down, but he's a happy man, and the cat's done its normal job, and it's shit all over him, as you can see. Welcome to the world of catfishing, Dom.
Here we go.
Well, as you can see, this is what you'd call wet and wild, but the cat's are having it. Now, we've got a funny feeling this might be the same cat, because it's come out on popped up worm this time, about half an hour after Dom had the last one, weighing the same, and she didn't fight a lot. So we'll be able to see when we get back in the office if it's the same fish, but going £36. You can count that as 2 30s, but it'd be nice to see it's a different fish. Down at Badshot Lee with Dom. What a night that was, wasn't it, mate? Last night. It rained constantly for 8 hours, 6 till 2 in the morning. Dom had a lovely, well, you had 2, didn't you? 36.6 and a mid-30, one on the worm and one on the pellet. I bumped one, missed one this morning, and thinking it wasn't going to be my day. And then this real fat lump's come along. I'm not too sure how big she is, but probably 20 something, a low 20. I expect she's going to shit on me. Come on. proper fight out in the middle of the lake, but it's nice just to get one. Stop flicking your tail, baby girl. Other way around landscape, maybe. Watch your fingers on it. Get one during the day. So Dom's never caught a cat, so he's off the mark, up and running. Welcome to the world of catfishing. You had quite a special fish last week, or didn't you? 11-13 tench. Yeah, I know where. Not that I'm going to go there. Yeah, it's shitting the pellets out and a bit of sweet corn, mate. So there she is. We're weighing the minute, but I'm guessing it's going to be 25 pound, I would think. Happy days. 31st of May. And I hope you all had a fantastic bank holiday. The weather at long last has been kind to us, although I'm guessing those that went out fishing probably found it quite tough, but just nice to get some sunshine and for it to warm up a little. As you can see, May's been quite an eventful month. Lots of customers at the start of the month. Weather wasn't fantastic, but we all caught fish. I've been out a few times, not that often or as much as I'd like. And as you can see from the photos, when I've been out, I've caught some good fish. And June is looking a lot less busy, what with customers and work. So I'm going to give myself a lot more time, get out on the bank, do a bit of tench fishing, and just generally enjoy myself. But what I'm really looking forward to is getting the inflatable out on the Thames, getting away from the crowds and just getting a bend in my rod and just enjoying fishing. So as you can see, those tench I caught earlier in the month really got my mojo back, and I'm really looking forward to getting out this month and catching a lot more fish.